I feel like there are so many different layers to the reset that I didn't even realize. Like, I was diving deeper into your site and I saw Chronobiology, and I was like, this is fascinating and makes so much sense. I've never even heard this word
Yeah.
before. So please describe it and how it's interwoven within the reset and all that you do.
Yeah. Chronobiology was something that I learned about really just after creating the reset. And in learning about it, I just reorganized the order of the shakes based on chronobiology. But what I loved about it was that after months of following like such a limited list of ingredients and feeling so restrictive, what chronobiology did was it just opened up the doors and allowed me to focus on what I could have instead of what I couldn't have. And so I still use chronobiology as a guide in that way because it does focus so much on like whole foods and just like what you can have. It's not like a list of, oh, I can't have this or I can't have that. It's more, okay, it's morning time. Here's all of the things that you can have. Or it's like bit more based on, so it's basically the thought that it's not necessarily what you eat, but when. And it's the idea it's based on, Chinese medicine really, and when the plants are open to receiving information from the sun is when they have the most bioelectric or energy and when they're gonna be most bioavailable to the body, when they have the most electromagnetic energy and when they're the most bioavailable to the body. Um,
Which makes so much
yeah, it does because it basically when you're waking up in the morning and the sun is rising, we're looking to get quick energy and like cleanse and get our day started. So you're going to reach for ripened fruits and nuts, which is where the sun is hitting the trees in the morning. And then during the daytime, the peak hours of the day is when our digestive fire is at its peak. It's when we're working and we need more like building energy. So that's when we eat things that grow above the ground when the sun is above the ground. So, like land grazing animals, grains, beans, the cruciferous vegetables. So, all things that are harder to break down at the time where we have the most digestive fire to break those things down and when we need the most sustained energy to get us through the day. And then nighttime when the sun is setting, eating things that grow under the ground or in the water. Eggs are like also an example of a nighttime food or mushroom. It's when they are generating energy like without the sun or at night. So root vegetables, fish, things like that at night that you would typically like gather around the fire and heat up around the fire.
And this makes so much sense just to like it's similar to like our circadian rhythms. It's like following
Exactly. It is
everything like
exactly that, and keeping your body on its natural circadian rhythms. It, like, has other names for it, but, like, solar nutrition, yeah, working with the phases of the sun and the moon and
and it makes so much sense. It's like bringing us back to this like authentic truth that's within us, like all the cycles that already lie within us and around us. It's just like reconnecting us with that truth. And I feel like what I love most about the reset is it's a cleanse, but it's a very nourishing cleanse. And I think that's something
yeah,
to really drive home. And you can pair it with food, which is what I did throughout. I like needed all the nutrition actually before my wedding and after traveling for 4 months. And I was like, it was the most nourishing cleanse for my body. So if you're afraid of the word cleanse, it's not like you are starving day in and day out. Like I felt so
yeah,
nourished and so full. And I think
yeah.
that's what bone broth is all about.
Yeah, and it would be my preference that we'd never have to use the word cleanse, which is why we called it a reset, but
Mm.
for SEO reasons, like, we have to in order to reach people that are looking for us, but I feel like cleanse, like, implies somehow that we're, like, not clean to begin with, but
Right.
again, the body is, like, healing itself all of the time, and we are so perfect by design, but every now and then, like, we do need, like, a reset to step back and find balance again. I think the reset allows you to really do that. It's like an opportunity or permission slip to really just take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And I feel like, at this day and age, unfortunately, like our bodies are miraculous vehicles that can and will heal if you put it in the right environment. and eat with intention of do the right things. However, I think we are exposed to so many environmental toxins and heavy metals. And there's so many things that this reset actually, I feel like should be a regular rotating. It needs to be in my quarterly nutrition.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
oh,
exactly how often we recommend is seasonally.
yeah,
Yeah.
that feels so good to me. Okay, so you do it
Mhm.
quarterly as well.
I'm getting back into doing it quarterly. I didn't for a few years because I had 2 kids. So, I was much more just, like, weaving it into my routine, which has really inspired some of our new programs that we're about to launch, which are more maintenance programs. But yeah, my kids drink the broth. I make their rice with it every week and they love that. So they don't drink it on its own, but finding ways to sneak it in for them. And then for me, like the broth has been a huge staple for me through my pregnancies. And then now, especially with like my kids at school and getting sick all the time, like they are now, like they'll all go down and I won't because I'm just like consistent with that. But getting back into doing the resets more for sure.
Yeah, we're a big broth home over here. We have broth. We're right down the street from Springbone. We have to get OWL Venice here sooner or later, but we're right down the street
Yeah.
from Springbone, and I feel like we get it all too often. But it's just like
I'm trying to talk to Grassroots, which is near you, right? The juice.
they're in Williamsburg. They're a little bit farther out, but we'll get you in Dumbo. We'll chat.
Okay.